All right, Mr. Joe, let's talk about business. All right.
Let's do it. Let's talk
First
business.
question I got for you, man, because I know that in my line of work, we go through it too. Is there a season when you slow down?
I'm in that season right now, hence why we're filming more podcasts.
And how do you approach that season? Like, knowing you're coming into it, where are you? Or are you like, yo, shit, what do I do to make more money? Or like, is it like, yo, I got to figure out how to coast through it? What's your game plan?
So this to me is called feast and famine, right? And ideally, you want to break away from this, but there are times in almost every business. For example, perfect example is landscaping, right? Especially if you live in a place like Virginia, where there's cold seasons and there's hot seasons, right? And in the cold season, your grass is not growing. So, you have times where you're busy, the grass is growing every summer. You got to cut that motherfucker every week or so. And that's what businesses are booming, or you're cutting your own grass, right? In the winter, though, you have to find other ways to make income, or you have to save your money in this fast season, to kind of you budget out your money, your expenses, all that stuff. So when the slow season does come, you're kind of ready to rock. Now, the scary part is the first time you get into this like feast and famine cycle. Because for me, the first 2 years were definitely like psychological. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You go into a business and like things go really well for a while. And then you go into the slow season and like you're not getting as many leads, you're not getting as many, people hitting you up, inquiries, stuff like that, not as many jobs. And so that can be scary, but once you go to 1 or 2, 3 cycles of like a feast and famine, if you want to call it that, you kind of start preparing mentally and hopefully financially. So when you are like in a slow season, you're prepared for it. Yeah, so first let's just kind of introduce ourselves. So the name of my business is V Visuals. I've been doing videography since 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 4 years going on to 5 almost. Tell us about your business, Dan.
Yep. So y'all know me. I'm Danny, aka Dan. Sometimes Dan's, depending on who knows me. My business is Phoenix Services. So it's a detailing business, automotive detailing, paint correction, ceramic coating is the whole nine. My business actually launched it in June. So it's been about, 5 months now. 5 months just about. So it's still a young baby. And like you said, you've gone through 2 of these feast or famine sessions. This is actually my first one. But I've been blessed. The company I come from, I helped run it. I helped establish it for the past almost 4 years. And we never had a slow season. Crazy to think, because we always like shit. November, December, January is about to be brutal. Let's like really hunker down. But we've always been booked out. Myself and the other employees there. So we've always been blessed with that. So I'm hoping to have the same blessings with Phoenix. But yeah, we are a young company, detailing business. So shout out to us, I guess.
Yeah. So this is kind of a really unique perspective, right? Because I definitely feel like I'm in a position where I there's just so many different things that I want to grow the business in, right? And then also kind of being in your position as well, like just like almost like a fresh company, fresh business, 6 months in about
6 months, yeah.
So it's, to me, this is kind of a way for us to kind of document as well as let you guys learn from our experiences as well, what we're kind of going through, as young entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And it's not as easy as people think it is, entrepreneurship. I know, like I said, I'm very young at it. But honestly, y'all about to see me start graying here in a little bit because, man, you are your own businessman. You are your own marketer, your own salesperson, your own employee. You're in charge of your own taxes. You're in charge of everything for your own business. So if I don't work, I don't eat. That's that grind that I have, you have, a lot of people have, especially in this area where you could thrive if you really put your mind to it.
So Dan's has been in this industry for years. Like he said, he was working 4 years.
4 years, just about 4 years, yeah.
So like I think a lot of people might be able to relate to this question, but like what was the hardest part for you to be like, I'm working with you and now I want to do my own thing?
I think the hardest part was jeopardizing a relationship, because work is work. I've made, when I started this job, my previous boss was like, is this the most money you've ever made? And I think he was expecting a yes. And I said, honestly, it's not. I used to do wildlife sales, and I would make, I was in the 6-figure range doing sales, attic installation, shit like that. But we went from that, we were working out of one car. Him and I, he'd pick me up in the morning to got a little shop we were renting a little bit of space from. And now we have clients and an established name. We were the established name. But deeper than that, we had a really good friendship. We were really, really close. We were cool. I flew overseas to his wedding. Hell of a guy. I got nothing bad to say about him. I just felt like I outgrew the position I was in. and the only step above that was ownership. And I had to have that conversation. I didn't have it the way I wanted to have it. Honestly, I kind of took the cheap way out when it came to that conversation. But at the end of the day, it was something that had to happen. I wish that company many blessings, and I'm sure hopefully he's not cursing my name. But that was the biggest thing, was that, because money's money. You make money anywhere. You can start a business doing detailing. You can start a business doing videography. You could be a handyman. You could you could be a landscaper. You could do whatever you want. Pottery. I know people that are bakers. They bake. They do all kinds of baked goodies and they sell that as their business. So the entrepreneurship is there wherever you want it to be. But relationships are really hard to come by. I know that you and I have been friends for 15 years.
Something like that.
15 years, and I value your friendship. I value everyone. Right, we got a small group of friends, a very small group of friends, and I value all of them because they bring things to my life that not just anyone brings to it. I got a lot of acquaintances, a lot of people that know us, or know our friend group, and like, yo, what up? I'm like, hey, how's it going? Everything's good, great, awesome, keep it moving, because those people don't add the kind of value that these relationships add to my life. So. My previous boss, he was one of those guys that added a lot of value, a lot of mental growth to my life, because I met him in a time where I quit my job and I was doing like odd jobs to pay my rent and pay my bills. So I was working like 3-4 days a week, and then I was bojangling the rest of the time, so really life changing. And so it was unfortunate that business was the meeting factor, because business is also the separating factor for us. But, we still talk here and there, so everything's all right.
Okay, so I mean, I'm also really curious, like, what has been like some of the challenges, like especially in the beginning, like what was the hardest part? Was it like getting your LLC license? Was it like branding yourself, getting a logo, all that stuff? Like, what were some of the challenges that you were going through?
So the most challenging thing for me was just staying focused on the things that an LLC or a business need. Honestly, I'm very lucky. God has blessed me with the ability to just be social with people. So I have, to this day, I've not used any sort of SEO or paid advertising. All my clients have been through word of mouth and referrals, or Facebook, which is crazy, right? Because it's like free marketing. I've been booked for 6 months straight, and I'm booked almost all the way through November, just off of word of mouth. So the hardest thing for me was just maintaining. I'm keeping logs of every time I get gas, every product I buy, everything for inventory, all the hours that I'm working, all the days I'm working, who I'm seeing, who I'm not seeing, who's recurring. Basically just got to be accountable for every single thing I do. Sundays are my days off. I don't work Sundays, but I still got to be attentive to emails, phone calls, social media if I can, things like that. I think that's the hardest thing also, is just kind of being active on the page. I started posting a couple like self videos today, just because I think you told me that, people love seeing that kind of stuff. So I'm working on building that. But I think the hardest thing is just really realizing that it's not like hey, I got off work, I can bullshit. I can't. There's no days off, dude. I'll get emails at 10:30 at night, and I'm like, dude, do I respond right now or do I wait till 9 a.m. tomorrow? Because for me, that window is always from 9 to 7, 9 to 8. After 8, you don't want to bother your customers. But if they're hitting me up at 10:30, guess what? They're getting an email at 10:35. So if you email me at 1 in the morning, well, shit, I'll probably be asleep. But you get it first thing in the morning.
Yeah. So I mean, you're never off the clock. We were at a wedding in Cancun, and I was booking things, following up with clients, letting them know like, hey, letting me know, hey, we have a grand opening, can you make it? I'm like, yeah, let me put you in the calendar. As mind you, hope they're not watching this, I'm like 5-6 drinks in, you know what I mean? And making
that's a low count too.
So like he said, there's really no days off, and right now we're in a position where even though we have a business, I don't yet consider myself a business owner. And some people might disagree with me on this, but right now, like he said, we're wearing a lot of hats. We're pretty much wearing all the hats. We're doing our own accounting, we're doing our own delivery. So whatever we promise we're going to tell the client we're going to do, we're doing that. We're also, like he said, messaging. We're doing our own marketing. We're also doing our own sales, because no matter what you do, you're still selling. Even though I make videos, I'm selling videos. Even though he does detailing, he's selling detailing. So we have to wear all these different hats. And recently I've been thinking a lot more about going from self-employed to being a business owner, where I can start to delegate some of my tasks to other people. Where I'm not 100% dependent on just myself to get things done. That's kind of been like a switch for me, something I've been thinking a lot about over the last like couple of months. And a book that will kind of give you some info on this is the Money Quadrant, I believe it's called, by Robert Kiyosaki, the guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. And one thing that he said that really fucking hit home for me. Are we allowed to cuss on the podcast? I don't know. So one thing that really hit home for me was when he said that, you know, he was comparing a self-employed person with the business owner, right? And there's a lot of like comparisons and contrasts, right? But one of the things that really hit home for me is when a self-employed person will limit themselves and say, only I can do the job that I do the way I do it. You know, I do it the best, you know, and that speaks true for me because I feel like when it comes to video, people will hire me because I have a certain style and I have a certain way I edit, in a way, you know, a certain way I do my transitions. So for me to delegate that to somebody else, I almost feel like, you know, maybe they can't do a good job as me. So I have to do the editing and I have to do the shooting because I want to be able to edit my footage the way I shot it, you know. But now I've been browsing online, you know, looking for editors and, you know, people that have been hitting me up for, you know, years. I'm sorry for watching this, and been like, hey, can I film with you? You know, can I follow you? I'm kind of regretting not being like, yeah, follow me, because I could have been nurturing, you know, another, you know, person that could have helped me build my business, you know. So just some things that I'm going through, you know, and hopefully, you know, whenever, you know, as however long this podcast goes in a couple years, I'll maybe be in a position where I'm not.
Well, I think you're doing it the right way, because a lot of people also try to grow a business too fast, and then you got more mouths to feed, and you don't have the leads or the income to feed all those mouths. So you're taking out of your profit. Next thing you know, you don't have a business. So I think you're doing it smart, very smart, because just because you got a lot of work right now doesn't mean you'll have a lot of work next week or next month or even next year. So you want to make sure you are fully, your foundation is solid, so that when you pick up your first employee, they got money. You know, they're working, they're steady. They got, you know, if it's part-time, they're part-time. If it's 40 hours a week, you're giving them at least what they should be making, and you're training them along the way, because they're your first prospect. They could be the, you know, the manager or the supervisor of whatever business you're in. So you gotta start somewhere, but at least you're starting. So, question for you: how do you in your business, like, when did you know there was that time to make that decision? Like, okay, I need to expand. Like, I need to grow my team.
When I had like 18, 19, 20 videos, and, you know, okay, I went on vacation to El Salvador for 2 weeks, right? And I did very little editing. I did bring my work with me, and I let everyone know, hey, like, I'm going to be on vacation this time. So if I shot with you, like, there's going to be an extra turnaround time, right? I come back, and then I'm editing the videos I already shot, and then I'm shooting more videos, you know, and then I'm like editing the videos that I shot before El Salvador, trying to get through that, slowly getting to the videos I shot back here, and then I'm still shooting more stuff, you know. So like all of that is just piling up, and it got to the point where you know, I had one client wait almost like 2 months for a video. Okay. You know what I mean? And like,
is that a long turnaround time for videos? I'm not sure.
So I usually try to stay within 3 weeks at the very most. I usually say 3 weeks, but can usually turn around within like 2 weeks, if not less. But I usually say 3 weeks just to give myself extra time, right? And I have done a little bit of research, like wedding videographers will take up to a year to turn around videos, usually 6 months. Whoa. So I mean, it's not like out of range. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it'll be anniversary before people but I mean, and the people that usually experience, you know, 6 months turnaround is because they're in the same situation. They're doing everything themselves, you know? Yeah. But so, you know, as I'm doing all this, you know, I'm thinking like, man, like I'm spending so much time editing, and that even if I paid someone to do my editing, like I would still be profiting with shooting more content and have more content to produce, you know what I mean? So it just kind of started, you know, making me think differently. And I've already been in situations where like I'm shooting and traveling and I can't make a shoot, so I'll hire someone and I'll, you know, maybe make like 100, 200, 300 bucks, you know what I mean? I'll lose, you know, like if it's a small shoot, you know, I'll pay them and I'll, you know, pocket the rest, and then I'll edit, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was doing that for a while, but it turned for me is like the editing is just where everything just falls through for me. Yeah.
Well, if you look at it this way too, when you hire someone to do the editing, it gives you more time to wear more of the hats, or wear the same hats but more often, and minimize the hats, because now you can focus on sales and marketing and not so much editing. So now you can go to all the networking events or all the happy hours where people are going, or all the, you know, the meetups or whatever it may be, and you can answer more emails faster. So
yeah, so and that's the thing, like, okay, like that should be everyone's goal, right? Like and not everyone's goal, but like I think, okay, I talked to someone recently that's kind of changed my mind. Like when they get into, some people, their mindset should be, when I get into business, like how fast can I get out of the business? Meaning like, okay, you build this business. At first you're going to do everything, but eventually you want to get to a point where you can leverage your time. Because when you have, for example, okay, if I have a shooter and I have an editor, you know what I mean, and they're doing everything for me, that I can 100% focus on getting new leads. Okay, so there's three, if you want to reduce your business down to just three things, right? And I've already said this to you, Dan. You want to think about acquisition, which is like, how are you getting your leads? You want to think, you want to have your delivery, which is like, you know, if it's detailing, this is what I'm going to promise you. This is what you're going to get. If it's video, this is what you can expect from me. And then your last one is your operations, right? That's your taxes, that's your emails, that's your phone calls, you know, that's your appointments that you're setting up. So like, if you want to, at the very minimum, if you want to have like a business, not be so self-employed, like you want to start, you know, like with a way to generate leads, you know, someone for me, it would be an editor and a shooter, and then in operations, which hopefully one day will be wifey. You know, if you're watching this in the future, take my phone calls, you know what I mean? Take care of the business for me, and we keep it in the family.
There's a fourth pillar, but that fourth pillar is top secret, classified. You have to subscribe to Jose's private business growth channel to get that fourth pillar. But I promise you, that fourth pillar is life changing.
Yeah, I hope maybe that will be, that might have to stay. That might have to stay disclosed. Is that how you say it? Disclosed?
Undisclosed.
Undisclosed, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think business is a beautiful thing, but it could also be very stressful. It's not for everyone. Honestly, the wealthiest people in the world are actually salespeople. You know, if you're happy, you know, strapping the boots on and making sales. And honestly, I love sales. It's an interesting thing. I get a lot of heat from people because I'm always on the marketplace. And they're like, why are you always on there, man? It's always as if you just want to make sales transactions that you don't even follow through with. And it's like, well, shit. You know, I just like the art of the sale. Like, hey, I reach out to someone. Oh, this is how much you want for it. Here's what I can do for you. Meet me at this price, or this is what I can give you right now. I'm ready to pick up. You know, whatever it may be. I bought a lot of dumb things. My boy Pavlek just helped me trailer home a project car that I got off of a trade that made no sense, but I really enjoyed the entire transaction, right? And this is what I live for. I live for transactions. So, like I said, salespeople, they love what they do. It comes flawlessly for them. They just do it every day, even when they're not at work. You know, they're pitching sales to shit they don't even know they're pitching sales to. It's like, yo, what do you want to go eat today? Here, I'm gonna tell you why we should go to you know, like Burger King or whatever it may be. So easy, bro. Whopper with cheese, put some bacon on it. Oh, ranch with some French fries and barbecue sauce.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I'm right there with Dan's, like kind of to the point that I made, or to his point, you know, that even though we provide a service, or even if you provide a product, like at the end of the day, you have to, you know, your sales is super important. First, you have to get leads, right? Because if you're not getting leads, who are you going to sell to, right? But okay, for example, for me, right, part of what I do is like, if I make a video for a business, like I'm going to try to get them as many leads as I can, if that's their goal, right? People have different goals, but usually it's like, I want to get more people through the door, more people through the website, more people to call. Okay, if I make the best video in the world, you get 1,000 leads, but the person that answers those leads is not a closer. So say that they only close 10% of, you know, leads. That's going to reflect poorly on me, and it's going to be a reflection of me, right? So I do try to kind of figure out what their closing process is like as well, because like I said, I'd rather have someone that can close 90 leads of, you know, than have someone that can't close shit, because then that's going to, obviously, for obvious reasons, right? You want people that's a closer.
Well, because a bad worker always blames their tools. So if you got a bad closer, and Jose made the best video possible for you, and your closer can't close, you're not gonna blame your guy. You're gonna blame the third party. Yeah. You know, shit, that video was too short, or hey, your transition, your B-roll was not B-roll enough. Or I don't know. God knows what people use for excuses.
You have to. I think one of the most valuable skills, I don't care what business you're in, sales is so important. I was literally just talking to a guy who might be coming through later. He just got on the phone. Yeah, he just told me like, hey, I just sold a $13,000 job to my company. You know what I mean? He told me that he's already made like $50,000 for last month or something like that, and he's already about to hit that this month. You know what I mean, for his company. Yeah. And that's not. He's made more. You know, we're getting into cold season, so I'm not sure if that affects.
Yeah, it definitely affects it. I mean, there's potential to make more now. And he's a great guy. If there's someone in your life that's comfortable with people, learn from them. My biggest advice if you're young, at least for 6 months, get a job at a restaurant. I'm telling you, that will change your life. It'll give you people skills, communication skills, you know, how to be polite, how to you know, withstand adversity, how to withstand objections, how to take rude customers, how to take no and flip it to a yes, how to be more persuasive, how to be a person that can educate someone on a topic. Shit, even it's like, yo, I used to work at Fridays. What's in your Cajun pasta? Oh, it's this pasta with this sauce. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. If you like spicy, it's just right amount of spice, right? Now someone's like, damn, I want to taste that, you know? But just to put yourself in a high-paced situation where your mental, physical, and you know, just you are yourself are built as a stronger person. You come out into the real world, not saying this restaurant's not a real world, but let's say you get a job at selling IT stuff. Now you're persuasive. Now you understand what you need to be learning about the product you're selling, and now you can understand, you know, how to take no or how to take a rude customer. Because I know that I used to work customer service, and I was the coolest guy in that building. Everyone's folding under pressure. I'm like, yo, look, it's not the end of the world. Here's what I'm gonna do for you. So I'm gonna correct this for you. Let me know if there's anything else we could do. Da 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 da. Because I've dealt with countless customers that are like, yo, this isn't right. This isn't right. Well, how do I fix that? You know, how do I take accountability without blaming myself? You know, stuff like that you learn at a restaurant. You're like, yo, the kitchen's backed up a little bit. Don't you worry, your food will be here in just a moment. Whole time I forgot to put the order in. So I run to the back like, yo, fire that chicken up right now. I'm fucked up, you know. But stuff like that, I really think you should put yourself in a high-paced environment if you're young to start off, because you're really going to build the people skills you need. And then when you go to the interviews, you're already comfortable. You've been sitting in front of, you know, 10 tops, 12 tops, 5 tops. You know, you've gone to private little dinners that a guy's taking his girl out to a fancy dinner, and you've served them. So now you sit in front of someone talking about, why do you need this job? Well, shit, why do you need me? Or why should I come work for you? You know, then you feel like, okay, I have value to myself, and here's what I could bring to you. So I think my little word of advice, I know I'm a little off topic, but it's just, hey, if you're young and you can, take a job at a restaurant. You're gonna learn a lot.
I agree, actually, 100%. And I never worked in restaurant, but I did work in services like retail and then also hotel. And like literally, you like the number one indicator of like success is like how happy was the customer with your experience.
And how can you hold yourself under pressure or under heavy criticism? Because if you do jump into any sort of high paying job, you're gonna come with a lot of high accountability. And if you can't handle the criticism that your clients or your employers bring to you, you're going to fold, and you're going to end up working some job where you don't require high stress and high reward. You know, you might be running around doing Instacart. I don't know how much Instacart people make, but you might be happier there. You're not making as much money as you could potentially make, but that's something you have to face within yourself.
Another takeaway, don't be afraid to go into service-based industries, you know, just to learn people skills.
Embrace them.
Learn how to work under pressure. Listen, your boy, once upon a time, my first job, you know, out of high school, maybe my second job, you know, retail, I used to sweat at the cash register. Like, oh, am I counting this change right? Like, what am I doing? And I used to think I looked so calm and shit and so cool. Until one day my manager was like, Jose, you want to get on the register? I was like, sure. And he was like, are you sure? Because I know you get a little sweaty and nervous. And you know what I mean? I'm like, wait, what? You noticed that?
Palms are sweaty.
Yeah, I was a little jit, you know, working these positions.
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. That's going to build your self-confidence.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would you say to somebody who's maybe thinking about starting a business? Though,
do it right now. Do it right now.
I think that's the best.
Yo, pause this podcast. Get on LegalZoom, wherever. Google this shit, whatever state you're in. Sign up. Get your LLC. Get the domain. You'll spend less than $200. Do that shit right now. And guess what? Worry about the fucking outcome later, because the biggest thing I did that fucked me up was wait too long. I've been being told, all my clients, you know, not all of my clients, but a lot of my clients and people that I know, you know, years ago, but if you're doing this on your own, why not just start your own business? And it was the fear or the anxiety or the nervousness of failing. You know, it's the fear of failure that really held me back until I finally decided, you know what, I'm ready for this. So, hey, Do that shit right now, and then hit play, and then comment, yo, I just started an LLC. Thank you, Dan. I'm gonna give you 2%, because this is like Shark Tank, but this is off topic. I want a 2% stake. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Do that shit right now. Whatever business you're passionate about. All right. I got my boy Pods. I'm trying to make him start Handy Pods. Yo, he's a handyman. That man can do anything with his hands. That man helped me trailer a car. He's been helping me change car parts out, TVs, moving, painting. Yo, this man can do anything and everything in the world. So we're going to get him up there too. What about you?
I think that's great advice. The sooner you start, the more you can. Here's the thing, like, and I can apply this to what I'm going through right now, right? Is like, I have been thinking about getting help and getting people under me, but I've been like, I don't know, like it's there's always going to be doubt in your mind, you know, there's always going to be like what ifs or like what if, but the thing is, like, once you start the path, like, you figure shit out. Like, you don't have all the answers in the beginning. You never do with anything, mostly for the most part, right? Same thing with business. Like, the more you're in it, the more you start, you know, I was charging like $50 and I thought that was too much, $75 for a photo session, you know, and like the more you start learning better editing, better camera gear, better, you know, you start taking courses, you know. I remember at one point, like, I was like, how the fuck do people sell, you know, thousands of dollars of video?
I remember you asking me that. I'm like, bro, you just gotta, someone's gonna pay it. You just gotta charge it. You gotta be worth it.
Yeah, and that it just, you go into a path that you wouldn't go unless you're trying to figure it out. You know, you could either wonder like, well, you know, maybe one day I'll start a business. But the questions you should be asking, like, I've started the business, now how do I get more clients? And then once you figure that out, like, okay, like, how do I improve my turnaround time? How do I improve, you know, my technique, whatever the case is, whatever industry you're in? So I would say the sooner you start, the better.
Right now. Right. Do it right now.
Right now.
Do it right now.
Get off this fucking podcast.
If you're 28 and you want to be a millionaire by 30, bro, start that shit right now. If you're 29 and a half, you can be a millionaire by 30. You should have started that shit a couple years ago. Bitch, you can start right now about 32. Yeah. You're doing something with yourself,
the best time to plant a tree.
20 years ago.
And the second best time.
Right now. And I keep pointing at this table because this table is right now.
The present.
The present. One more takeaway. When you become wealthy, right, you got to eliminate certain habits. You got to eliminate, and unfortunately, you got to eliminate people from your life, because if they're not adding value to you and what you're doing, they're taking it. They're subtracting it, right? Energy is everything. When you start making it, when you are thriving, when you are, or your wealth could be, you know, financial, it could be wealth in a sense of you're healthy and you're feeling the best you've ever felt. Eliminate the habits that could cost you everything, right? You already know. Some people should not have been in some positions that led them to their life being taken, right? And this all comes to with what I just said. When you reach a certain level of life, you don't have to be a millionaire. You could just be making enough money to where you're not eating ramen noodles and McDonald's every other day. I say McDonald's, I know, damn, people gonna roast me. But you make it past that level, don't let yourself be brought back to it, no matter what. Don't bring along the people that aren't worthy of bringing along, right? Make yourself valuable and keep that value. And you're going to learn that, and you're going to maintain that, and you're going to come back to this podcast and be like, damn, that shit was deep, bro. I'm going to Venmo you $100,000. I'll take that shit. Appreciate y'all.
I got to thank you guys for tuning in to another off-topic podcast.
Episode 2 billion. That's what that lottery winner won. But guess how much Uncle Sam took?
Almost all of it.
Ooh, yeah, the tax man. The tax man. There's two things you can't avoid in this world.
Death.
And taxes. Damn, taxes, man. My pockets hurt just thinking about it. Now, I didn't even win, bro. Where's my $1 billion at, Joe Biden? Peace.